Welcome to the WACO Experience, an American story,
We the people.
with your host, D. Scott Smith.
In order to form a more perfect union.
Interviews with leaders in business, government, and nonprofit organizations.
Promote the general welfare.
Jobs, products and services, and infrastructure for strong communities.
Secure the blessings of liberty.
The WACO Experience is an American story, a story of communities across America. It is your story.
And I tell you what, Waco has got some good young citizens. I feel confident that the younger generation can step in and grow and take care of us. We have a bright future. Waco is growing, it's expanding, a lot of young folks coming in. And I will say, when I moved here, I fell in love with this place and I plan on living here. There are people out there that will take care of you and take care of your loved ones, and it's not doom and gloom. It's actually a pretty bright future right now.
That was Ben Johnson of Royal Manor Rehabilitation and Healthcare with a wonderfully optimistic perspective. We will hear from Ben and Tracy in this episode of the WACO Experience, an American Story. I'm your host, D. Scott Smith. Find information about the program, podcast replays of our stories, and information about our sponsors online at thewacoexperience.com. I want to thank our sponsors, White Bluffs Construction, custom building, home remodeling, and right now, get on the schedule to build your patio deck or pergola. Call Seth at 254-227-2002 and visit the website at whitebluffsconstruction.com. Monica Shannon of Texas Healthcare for You is our go-to for help with healthcare insurance. It's Medicare open enrollment until March 31st. Let Monica help you and your family. Call her today at 254-339-3421 and visit the website txhealthcareforyou.com. That's txhealthcare, the number 4 and the letter U.com. Biddy and Bo's Coffee offers hot and cold beverages, catering, and provides employment for people with disabilities. Drop in today at 110 Franklin in Waco. Chord Buddy is the world's best way to learn guitar. 100% U.S. made, this learning system will have you playing real music on a real guitar right away. Learn to play guitar today at chordbuddy.com. Comic Fest Waco is coming April 5th. This free and open to the public event is all about literacy. Comic books and graphic novels help our students learn to read. Follow them on Instagram at Comic Fest Waco. Well, D. Scott here, and on location at Royal Manor. And we're going to talk to Ben and Tracy here about what Royal Manor is and how to find it and all of those great things. So let's get right into it, and let's start with Tracy.
My name is Tracy Mathis. I do marketing and admissions at Royal Manor.
My name is Ben Johnson. I am the administrator here at Royal Manor Rehabilitation and Healthcare. We're located at 9101 Panther Way, right on the city limits line between Waco and Hewitt. So we serve Waco, Hewitt, Woodway, anywhere in McLennan County, actually, that you need.
So, Ben, you're the administrator here at Royal Manor. So let's just talk first about what is Royal Manor? Who do you serve?
Well, we serve anybody that needs help. We are a rehabilitation facility, which means we can bring you in, get you rehabbed back to home, short-term care, but we also cater to a lot of long-term care folks. These are people who need day-to-day care, 24-hour nursing and rehabilitation and otherwise. Our typical population is 65 and up. We are a skilled nursing facility, but we do have a fair number of people in their 50s and even a couple in their 40s. So we are an open facility to anybody that needs us.
And Tracy, about how many folks are you serving here at Royal Manor?
Right now, about 77.
And tell us about the staff. How many folks do you have working here?
Believe it or not, between the kitchen staff, the cooks, the dietary, the housekeeping, therapy, we have about 91 people right now in this building to take care of the people we've been entrusted with.
So that's a fair number of jobs that are being created right
Definitely.
here.
definitely. And if you consider 24-hour care, plus we do everything that they need. We have folks that do the laundry, that pick up the clothes, clean them, iron them, take them back. We serve their meals. We serve snacks at night. We have dedicated certified nursing assistants that will take care of the basics like changing if they're soiled, helping them get up to the bathroom, making their beds. We have nurses that pass the medications and take care of the nursing care. We've actually also got another group called CMA, Certified Medication Assistants. They pass out the medications that are scheduled. Like say if you're going to get a breathing treatment or a Tylenol every day, they'll take care of that for you. And then we have a therapy staff. We have speech therapy, occupational therapy, and physical therapy. And they can help, and if you've had a broken hip and you come, they can help you get back on your feet and then walking. If you've had a major stroke and you're debilitated, we have people that can help you learn to speak again, walk again, help you do all the occupational things. Sometimes we have to help people learn how to write again, and we have staff that can do that. And then we have to have our administrative personnel. We've got, as you know, Tracy, our admissions and marketer. We've got a lady that takes care of all the business. She handles people's checks when they come in. We disperse the funds to them. We have an activities director that is just awesome. I can't sing her praises enough. We have 4 or 5 activities every day. So she takes them, to Walmart, restaurants, and she does bingo, which is extremely awesome. Everybody loves that. And then we have a van driver. We have somebody that, that's what they do. They just get our residents to doctor's appointments as needed. And then, of course, their HR personnel and the DON and ADON who direct all of the nursing staff with what they do. So in order to provide 24-hour care, it takes a village, as it were.
Things have changed a lot from when I was growing up. You went in for surgery or some procedure in the hospital, and then your recovery was there in the hospital. A friend of mine just got a new hip. In the morning, out in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. No overnight stay. It was just an in-house procedure. However, not everyone can go home. So let's talk about when these things changed and how Royal Manor fits in.
Well, it's been a long, slow process as you were. I remember when I was young, and I'll put it out there, a nursing home was a place where people went to die, and that was an unfortunate reality. But over the years, healthcare has grown and changed, and hospitals have come to learn that hospital care is quite expensive. Full-time care is quite expensive, but nursing homes can take and fill in that gap and do it where it's more efficient, more patient-driven. We have more dedication to certain people, whereas a hospital may have, a nurse on an entire floor. We've got 2 nurses, CNAs. We've got the therapy staff. And over time, the business model has switched to where it has just become more efficient. We can deliver the care they need in a more efficient. And at the same time, nursing homes recognized, a lot of people that owned nursing homes recognized that the old model wasn't popular. I remember as a child going to some nursing homes, and they were horrible. They smelled, and people were there to die. But now we try to provide a light, airy place to live, where you can not just go to die, but you can go to live until your time comes to pass on.
Ben, when we talked earlier, you talked about that as one of your goals, one of your visions, this light and airy.
Yes. There is an old story about a clean, well-lit place. A gentleman who had retired. He was alone, he was single, and his apartment, his house was kind of dark, and he just wanted a clean, well-lit place to go and live his life. I read that story back in high school, and it stuck with me. Now, I've bounced around a couple of different careers, as it were, till I got here. But when I got into long-term care, I remembered that story, and that has been my goal, is to give the residents that are entrusted to me. Now, I don't feel like I'm taking care of them. I don't feel like they're a burden or necessarily just a customer. I feel like their families have trusted them to me to take care of. And one of my goals is, as I said, that clean, well-lit place.
Clean, well-lit, you mentioned earlier, in the old days, and it may not have been that long ago, there was this vision, right? Nursing homes, you just go there, die. And I want to come over to Tracy and talk about, because you're in the marketing side of this, and let's talk about how that messaging has changed and what you share about Royal Manor and how it's light, it's clean, it's different than what that perception was.
Okay, so we have friendly staff, the best therapy in town. We give really, really good care. The food is good, and we have a nice, clean facility.
Yeah, it makes a big difference, doesn't it?
It does.
And that's one of the things I notice when you come in here. It doesn't smell like a hospital. Mm-hmm. In fact, it doesn't smell like anything. It's just neutral, which for me is great. I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. So what kinds of thoughts do you have when you first got involved with Royal Manor and the industry in general?
Okay, so Royal Manor was my first job in this industry. I started out as a CNA, and I just loved to care for people. When I came to this side, it was more of I had worked all the different levels here, so I would ensure that the people were going to get the care that they deserved and needed.
So let's keep on that. You said that this was your first first entry into this industry. Uh-huh. Where were you before? What was your background?
I'd always been a manager in manager positions. I used to manage a hair salon. I spent a lot of time as a stay-at-home mom.
So a lot of personal care type. A lot of caring for individuals.
Customer service.
Right. Yeah.
I'm about the customer service.
And so it really makes sense that you're here in this position now, also caring for people. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the history of Royal Manor. How did it come to happen?
They built the building and opened up in 2002. We were owned by a local family. Then it was sold to another local family.
So when the second family purchased Royal Manor, was it their first entry into this industry, or was it an expansion?
No, it was an expansion. It was bought by the Cook family.
And so tell me about the Cook family's other residences, other facilities.
We have 7 other locations, and we have 2 here in Waco, and they actually live here in Waco. So we have 4 in Central Texas, 2 in Houston, and 1 in San Antonio.
Ben, let's talk about your journey into Royal Manor. You mentioned you had a number of careers as you've come into this, different industries.
Yes. Going all the way back to my childhood, I was always interested in helping others and taking care of others. And one way or the other, I ended up actually being a paramedic. I was a paramedic for 14 years, which I loved the job, but it is very hard on the body and on the psyche. One day, I had gone back to school to look at something else and discovered a degree program that I could change careers, and looked into doing long-term care, which in a sense is an extension of what I was doing before, which was just taking care of. Well, before I was taking care of the sick and injured, and now it's more the long-term care, taking care of people that need more than just, the 30 minutes emergency ride to the hospital. And so by the grace of God, I lucked into a good facility. This was up in Fort Worth. Got into it and found that I was, honestly, I'm going to brag, a natural fit. It was a natural fit for me. The good Lord knew what he was doing when he brought me into this field. So I was up in Fort Worth for a while. Transferred down here to Waco with a different building across town. Through a couple of very interesting circumstances, met up with my boss, Cody Campbell, who is CEO for Cooks. And after talking with him, I came over to this building, and I've been here about 2.5 years. And I will say, that the Cook family, they're awesome. I know they've been in Waco a long, long time, but they have a heart for service, and they want these facilities to run well and be taken care of. And I can honestly say they give me the resources I need, the support I need, whatever I need to do my job well. Since I didn't have that in the past, I've learned just how much better it makes my job and how much easier it is for me to lead my people when I have a good, structure above me. And so I take that, and I take the desire that the Cooks have to take care of people. And as I said, it's the ones that are entrusted to us. And one thing I learned when I was a paramedic is then we were not just treating a patient, we were also treating the family. And the same is here, because when someone comes to us, they're not just a random name and a number. They are a person. They're a grandfather, a grandmother, a son, an aunt, an uncle. And I strive as much to take care of their families as I do them, because, well, none of us want to see our grandmother or our mother not well taken care of. And so that's one thing I try to infuse with my staff is, let's take care of these people that are trusted to us. Not customers, but trusted to us.
The privacy of the folks who are using the services, they're staying here, is always protected.
Yes.
When you deal with people like this, there's always interesting stories. And that's one of the beautiful things about working in this type of industry. With keeping people's privacy intact.
Sure.
Can you tell us some stories of some of the folks that have come through Royal Manor?
Yes. We have a gentleman here, actually, that can speak, I want to say, 5 languages. He was a tribal police officer in South Africa. He used to have some interesting stories that he would talk about having to deal with, from the South African government side to helping the tribes to maintain peace, and some very interesting different things that I've heard of over the years. We have a gentleman here that was a star baseball player here in Waco. He's told me his story a time or two. Obviously, I won't name him, but he played for the high schools here and went fairly deep into a college career. Yeah, it's a very interesting range of folks that we have here. Like there's one lady, she used to manage some hair salons, and I think she had a fairly big business in the hair salon industry here. And we've also had a couple of other interesting characters. At one of my other buildings was a gentleman who was, and it's kind of a sad story, was injured in a shootout that they had many years ago here in Waco between some biker gangs. There are some very, very interesting people that you find in nursing homes, and we see folks that might be in a wheelchair, that maybe due to strokes can't talk. We had one gentleman who could barely walk, but when the right kind of music came on, he had to watch him, because he'd stand up and start dancing. Awesome dancer, could really bust a move. Even in his 80s, we just had to kind of make sure he stayed seated. So folks like that will kind of surprise you sometimes, but yeah, they're here.
Yeah, those different things that happen medically. I had a friend a year ago, just a little over a year ago, went through a stroke. Yeah, having to learn these different things again. You talk about learning how to write, not just how to talk or how to walk, but just some basic skills that we think, well, I've known how to do that since I was in 3rd grade.
No, that's correct.
But you guys are here to help that recovery. Not a place to die.
No,
a place
not.
to come in and learn and thrive and move ahead. Taking care of those families as well.
Come and live.
Yeah,
So.
Absolutely. There are quite a few statistics out there that talk about, as they call it, the silver tsunami, right? The aging
Definitely,
population.
yes.
So let's get in and talk about this silver tsunami and the future. What's coming?
Well, the baby boom is hitting retirement age, and as anybody that knows history knows that was a huge population, and they are aging. And there's a couple of different challenges with that, is that the follow-on population, the next generations are not as large, so there's going to be kind of a stretching and sifting of resources, I believe, but we're going to see more and more folks just get to the point of where they cannot take care of themselves. This is kind of maybe it could be debatable as a drawback if you figure that 40 or 50 or even 60 years ago, grandma usually lived in with the oldest son and stayed with them, and the family took care of them. Well, nowadays, and for quite a while now I should say, with the 2 earner homes and the careers that are going, we don't have that same kind of family social safety net, if that's a good way to put it. I'm not sure that it is. In a sense, we will be the ones that will provide that safe net, the social net, where they can come and again, have a clean, well-lit place to live, but be taken care of, because the modern family just can't do it as they did back in what would be called the old days. So we are, I think we're well set to do that. Now, the elephant in the room right now is going to be what COVID did to us. COVID completely, well, I don't want to say destroyed, but thoroughly restructured the nursing home industry, the skilled nursing facility industry, I should say. Almost everybody that might be hearing me saw that from maybe a political perspective, or they may have known some people that had it, but we dealt with it on the front lines because COVID affected the elderly population, 65 and up, much more than it did the younger folks. And I will say, unfortunately, there were a number of people that passed with that, but there were a lot of people that did the best they could. But with the fear and the anxiety that COVID created, unfortunately, a lot of good people got out of this industry because of fear. They couldn't be around their family. They might catch something to take home. So we are rebuilding. I can honestly say my facility here is miles ahead of some of the others, and I'm bragging on this now. But getting back to that level of customer care and resident care that we had 4 or 5 years ago that we lost, frankly. It's been a challenge, and it's going to be a challenge for a little bit longer. But as you mentioned, the silver tsunami, it's the outer waves are here, and it's going to hit us pretty good. So we all need to, continue to improve our care, our quality improvement measures. We need to be looking at those, doing everything we can to prepare and better and be better to take care of the residents that are coming.
So we talk about this silver tsunami, baby boom, big population. Generations after that, YX and so forth.
Exactly.
Lower populations. Mm-hmm. However, that's where you're drawing your employees from. What kind of challenges are you looking for finding those staff members to fill these 90-some roles?
I hate to, by any means, talk about the previous generation. I remember when I was a teenager and in my 20s, older folks would talk about my generation as, we just didn't have the same work ethic. We didn't do the same things we did. Well, you know what? We're here now, and we're taking care of the world. And we've all heard the demographic discussions about millennials and Gen Z and all of these things. But I am finding that there are still a lot of good, hardworking kids that want to do this. As a matter of fact, we have a tie-in with a group here called WACO, Greater Waco Area Academy for Healthcare Association. I'm forgetting the name of it, but they are high school kids that in their junior year they go to they get their CNA, Certified Nursing Assistant. In their senior year they can get their CMA, Certified Medication Assistant, and they are graduating high school prepared to go into the workforce, which was not something we necessarily had when I graduated high school. And we have a tie-in with them. We are a clinical site, so every week on Wednesdays and Thursdays we have, I would guess, 10 to 20 students. I haven't counted them, but high school students that come in. And I tell you what, Waco has got some good young citizens. We can be proud of what I'm seeing come out of the Waco high schools right
And
now.
this is one of the things they talk about with like the millennial generation
Sure.
and those that are coming after that,
Sure.
is that one of the things they're looking for is a career that gives them the opportunity to make a difference in the world.
Sure, and we're seeing a lot of that. And like I said, they're coming out workforce prepared, so they have a goal, they have a vision, they have a starting place. Whereas, again, in our younger generation, it was either, go into a trade or bounce around or go to college. Well, I'm just seeing a sea change, I guess, as it were, in the education system because I think the people my generation are recognizing that the younger generation need to be better prepared to take over and to take our place when we move on. And based on what I'm seeing, I think we've got a positive future. Now, there may be fewer, and they may have to work harder. That's always going to be a given. But I feel confident that the younger generation can step in and grow and take care of us.
I love this positive outlook. I love that because a lot of times we think about our youth and the future, and it's some sort of combination between hell and a handbasket. But Ben, you've got the right perspective.
Thank you.
You understand what the opportunity is because you're actually working with those students. You're seeing them get this opportunity to get certified, the CNA and then the CMA, right? And that provides an opportunity for students to be able to step out of high school and into a career potential that, and Tracy, I want to come back to you in a moment because you are a living model for these students that can come in as a CNA and work forward. We have great institutions in the community, educational institutions.
Definitely.
It's maybe not for everybody, and maybe not right away out of high school, maybe later.
Sure.
But to be able to have these certifications and start a job without debt, that's a big thing for today.
It is, definitely. And I'm not going to downgrade anybody that wants to go to school to better themselves, but the fact is there are folks with hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt and no marketable skills. So at least with this, and there are other programs in the local high schools, but these folks specific to us, they come out, they have the certification, they can make money right away, they can bank something, and then they can use this to springboard if they want to go into nursing, or if they want to go into various other aspects of medical. There's an old saying we haven't heard in a long time, but how do you get a job without experience? Well, how do you get experience without a job? This has given these young men and women a chance to have that practical, real-world experience, which employers are looking more for. I've noticed a shift lately. I can't say lately for many years, but a degree doesn't count as much as it used to do because employers want real-world experience, whether that be volunteering or working, whatever job you have. But that's going to count more in the long run, not just not having to take the debt, but having that real-world hands-on experience.
So Tracy, let's come back to you. And let's provide some inspiration for those students who are thinking, this might be a career for me. Let's talk about how you made that transition.
It is a very rewarding career. The only thing is you must have a servant's heart. But I have met some amazing people and just get satisfaction of taking care of people and giving them a better life.
And now you're doing the marketing for the organization.
Yes.
That's just a wonderful trajectory for folks to be able to see that is an opportunity.
So like the case managers and the doctors and things, I have a really good relationship with them and they trust me and they know that they don't have to worry that we're going to make sure that their people are taken care of.
It's fabulous. Ben, wind us up here. And Tracy and Ben, thank you for letting me come and spend time with you here at Royal Manor.
Oh, it's been our pleasure.
So wind us up. Provide some inspiration for everybody as we go out into the world.
Some inspiration. It's been a rough few years, but the future looks bright. So bright I have to wear shades. I can say that if it's an old song. I hope most of our listeners hear that song. But it really is. It's not a lot of, not doom and gloom as the prognosticators have had. We have a bright future. WACO is growing. It's expanding. A lot of young folks coming in. And I will say when I moved here, I fell in love with this place and I plan on living here, staying here. But WACO's good. It's got it going on, and there are people out there that will take care of you and take care of your loved ones, and it's not doom and gloom. It's actually a pretty bright future right now.
The WACO Experience, An American Story, is a production of D. Scott Smith Company, all rights reserved. Thank you for listening.